Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, feel at home. If you're one of our returning subscribers, I want to say thank you very much for your support and welcome back. This is the view this morning. I'm so excited for the gift of life and looking forward to the tasks ahead. Yeah, our chore list today is so long, but we are grateful nevertheless. So for sustainability purposes in this homestead, we keep dairy goats and the alpine breed to be precise. And the main reason is for the goats to give us milk and at times meat. Though the focus is not really on the meat, we focus mostly on the milk part of it and the manure that we get so that we can replenish the farm. So to keep these goats healthy, we have to have routine management practices that we do on a weekly basis. These management practices include hoof trimming, dehorning, deworming, and also just majorly cleaning the pens by harvesting the manure on a weekly basis. But today we are going to majorly focus on acaricide treatment, control of pests and parasites in the farm so that the goats are not infested. I'm going to use Vector Claw, the one I'm showing you here. This is for the control of ticks, lice, and mites that burrow into the skin of the goats. So basically, I'm going to put 25 ml into 20-liter pump. Yeah, and mix it very well. And that is what I'm going to use to spray the goats. Because we don't have a dip, we normally just put the goats on a stand. Today my daughter is helping me to do that. You'll be able to see in the video. We put the goats on a stand so that we hold them still so that they don't move during the spraying. Because you have to make sure the goats are very wet. They are soaked in that medicine properly for it to be effective. And one thing we also do is that every week we normally use a different acaricide to prevent the goats developing drug resistance, or rather the parasites that infest the goats developing drug resistance. Yes, so this is what normally happens, and that's why it's a very important process in the farm, and we have to be very, very keen while implementing this management practice so that we have healthy goats in the farm.
Come share my pillow and rain, rain, go away.
Kindly note, in the farm, we don't have a farm hand. Yeah, so most of these farm chores, we do it ourselves. So I had to take a course online. I had to take a course and learn how to take care of all the animals we keep in the farm so that they can be healthy and continue producing for us as a homestead. So I had to learn to do these things myself and also teach some of them to my children so that when I'm not able, they're able to do it when I'm not around. So that is why most of the time you see me doing the farm chores, because it's something I was interested in and I had to learn to do it and do it well, as opposed to when I need something done in the farm, I'm dependent on someone else. Yeah. So right now, that's why you're seeing me spraying the goats myself. This is a practice we do oftenly because we've been keeping the goats now for five years. Yeah, 5 years straight. And this is one of the practices, routine practices we normally hold dear in the farm. And it has really helped to keep the goats healthy and also just our environment, yeah, clean of pests and strange infestations of parasites. Yes, because we, apart from goats, we also keep ducks, we keep chicken, we keep bunnies, and we also keep dogs, and we have cats. So we have to make sure that all animals coexist together very well and are very, very healthy. For us to be healthy as well as the handlers in the farm. Kindly note that if your goats are grazing outside your compound, you'll have to spray them on a weekly basis. But because we keep our goats strictly on zero grazing, our goats are strictly zero grazed. They don't go outside the compound. So instead of doing this practice weekly, we normally do it after every 2 weeks. Yeah, because they don't go out. And some people who keep their goats for zero grazing opt to do it once a month. But no, as we do it after every 2 weeks because of the other animals we keep. For example, if you keep chicken normally have the lice. They're called what? The stick-tight fleas. Chicken also normally have lice. I don't know how. Is it lice per se? Lice, or they are called in Luya we call them bikohoni. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so we have to make sure the goats are sprayed very well to avoid this infestation of parasites and pests. Another thing you need to note is that when you're doing this routine spraying for the goats, make sure you spray all the goats and also spray their pens where they sleep. Very, very important, because if you spray the goats and you don't spray the pens, when you take them back after 3 days, the pests and parasites that are in the pens will jump on the goats again. That's why it's very, very important. When you spray the goats, you spray their pens also before you take them back in. Especially for the people who are zero grazing. And also, I think it's also important for the people who spray their goats, the goats that normally go out to graze. You also, after spraying the goats, also spray their pen also, just to kill whatever is inside there, yeah, to keep the goats healthy. I believe so. And one very important point to take away from here is, when you're going to spray the goats' pens, make sure you remove the salt. Make sure there is no food there, because you know these chemicals we are using, the acaricides themselves are normally very, very toxic. Very, very toxic. And that is why you see us wearing masks when spraying the goats, because you don't know what you can, if you ingest those chemicals, you don't know what harm you can cause yourself. So very important, as you're spraying the pens, just make sure you take away the salt, take away the fodder, any food that is there, remove completely, so that when you take the goats back in, they don't feed on food that has been cross-contaminated from the chemical poisoning. Yeah. To sound like a know-it-all, but I have seen videos online of people spraying goats when they are in groups, in masses. From my own point of view, and from what I learned during my training at it, I prefer spraying each goat individually, because you find that in your flock, you'll find that some goats are more infested than others. So if you put them together and spray them just haphazardly, you will not have dealt with the issue completely. So you'll take them back in and the infestation will continue. So I think the best way to effectively tackle this pest and parasite is to deal with each goat individually if you can. And if you have a lot of goats, because some people keep a lot of goats, I think the best method is to use a dip. If you cannot spray them wet completely for each goat, just use a dip so that you make sure you have treated your goats very, very well. Another thing we do to make sure this management practice is very effective is to ensure that where the goats are sleeping is very, very clean. Yeah, And for that to happen, for us, since we are doing zero grazing strictly, our pens are actually raised. If you've watched our previous videos, you have seen the pens. The pens are raised from the ground, 2 feet from the ground, yes. And the floor of the pens are slated so that the goat urine and droppings go down. Yeah. And when the goats are sleeping, they sleep on a clean surface. It's been very, very useful because it keeps the pens self-cleaning, so that when you come, you just remove the waste hay and you harvest the manure. And also it keeps now the goats from being heavily infested, as opposed to if they were sleeping cooped up together on the ground. Yeah, so that is also another thing that has really helped us, the type of housing for these goats. And why this has been very important for us is because many people used to say that goat milk smells. The milk of goat will not smell unless it's been cross-contaminated. So to avoid cross-contamination, you have to make sure your goat pen is self-cleaning, or you keep your goats in a clean environment. And also just make sure you keep the back away from the doors, so that the smell from the back does not cross-contaminate your milk, and you will enjoy your goat milk. So this is one of the important management practices we keep in the farm, just to make sure our goats are healthy and they give us good milk. Let me also take this opportunity to encourage any woman, any female, any mother out there, yeah, to take goat farming as part of your homesteading chores. I'm telling you, you will not regret, because goat farming to me has been really helpful. I remember when we started the farm back in 2020. This is during COVID. Yeah, I thought it's going to be a very daunting task, but goats are easily manageable. Once their pen is clean and you give them water, you make sure they have their food on time, you will not have any much to do. You leave them there eating, you go continue doing other things. At the end of the day, you get your milk, and healthy milk for that matter, that is not preserved with chemicals or contaminated in any way. You know where your milk comes from, and when you give your children, you know it's good milk. I'm really grateful because I ventured into goat farming, because I have really learned a lot. I'm telling you. Goat farming has been a blessing in this small homestead. So back to our topic of the day about spraying of acaricides. Just remember not to use the same acaricide every time. Try and rotate them, change. There are different types. For example, here in Kenya we have Stelladon, we have that Vectaclaw, we have Triatix, we also have Duodip. There are so many in the market. Read the label, check what they fight against, and make sure you do rotational spraying. Don't use the same medication each time. This is because you don't want the parasites on these goats to develop resistance against the drug you're using. That's why rotating the drug is very important. And this also goes for deworming. When you're deworming, always change the type of dewormer you're using each time, yeah, so that the wormers can be effective in the farm. Same to the acaricides. That is why it is one of the most important practices in a goat farm. It doesn't matter whether you have a big goat farm, or you're just starting out, or you have a small one like mine. Yeah, mine is just in the backyard, but I have to make sure I implement all these management practices in order to keep the goats healthy and highly productive. Guys, if you made it till here, thank you very much for your support. We don't take it for granted that you watch our videos. And if you like this kind of content, please put down in the comment section below. I will be keen to read your comment and respond. I'm grateful that you guys normally give us your support. Please don't skip the ads. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Support us by giving us a like, yeah, if you like the video. Share this video if you know someone who needs this kind of information and it will be helpful to them. Please share. Thank you very much once again. Let me also take this opportunity to share with you my most powerful inspiration behind goat farming. It comes from the book of Proverbs chapter 27, from verse 23 to verse 27. I will read from the King James Version. The Bible says, "Be thou diligent to know the state of your flock, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation. The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself. And herbs of the mountain are gathered, and the lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the prize of the field." And verse 27 says, "And thou shalt have goat's milk, enough for thy food, and for thy household, and for the maintenance of thy maidens." Yeah, I needed to give you that Bible inspiration behind this entire goat farm. Yes, my people. At this point, I could see the sun was too hot, but we are almost done. And my daughter was helping me also. She looks very, very tired. Yeah, but I'm glad we are down to our 2 last baby goats. Then we call it a day and a good job done, yeah? Thank you so much for hanging out with us during this video. I'm so grateful, yeah? I don't take it for granted, guys. I really appreciate you. Team, so grateful. God bless you so much. I always pray for all my subscribers that God will bless you, God will strengthen you, and that you may never lack any good thing in life. So thank you very much for being a part of this channel. Right now we are just down to our 2 last goats. Yeah, then we call it a wrap for this part of our daily chores in the homestead. Then we can do something else. It's already evening right now. As I'm doing this second last goat, it's around 5:30 in the evening, and we started our chores in the morning. So I'm grateful, and this is just to show you that sometimes homesteading life can take your entire day. The chores in the homestead. So if you're interested in running a homestead, you have to keep this in consideration. There are times when guys go out to enjoy their holidays. You will not be able to do that because you have to take care of your farm. You have to take care of the farm animals. You have to take care of things around the homestead, especially if you are like me and you don't have a farm hand. Yeah, but if you have a farm hand, some people call them farm manager, then you're good to go. You can have your animals and still travel and tour the world. Thank you so much. Now we are done. Our last baby goats are here basking in the sun. My daughter is also resting. Yeah, so as we look forward to do some other chores in the homestead, just to call this day a successful one. Thank you for hanging out. If you're here, if you're here till now, we appreciate you so much. Thank you once again, and enjoy the rest of the video. After that long day, it was getting dark. I just came and started lighting the fire so that we can cook for the dogs first. Here we normally cook for our dogs first, so that as the food is cooling, now we can prepare our own meals. So this is what I'm doing here. I have to start the fire.